Alrighty. Does it look like I'm crying? If it looks like I'm crying, that's good because it's drama. But I am not crying. I just put my contact lens in. So I wanted to make a video about, have I quit parkour? This is a question that I get asked pretty much daily. For reference, I don't think I've made a parkour video in maybe a year. And I get asked this, literally daily. And to be fair, I get it. I haven't answered this question. It's been very random to see me completely switch my content style and never address whether I've quit parkour or not. So I want to go through it. I want to explain my journey with parkour and why I'm not making those videos and the future, I suppose. So let's start. I'll give you the answer. I don't think I've quit parkour. I don't think so. I'm never going to accept I've quit parkour. But to caveat that, I haven't trained parkour in well over a year, I think. The last time I did parkour would have been in Camp Woodward, which was about a year ago. And I can say I don't think I've really done parkour since then. So you might be wondering why, and there's a number of reasons. The main reason ultimately is I have a very bad knee. Before you jump to the comments and give me every single knee exercise I need to do to fix it, I do understand I need to fix my knee. I will fix my knee. I am aware of knees over toes guy. I will do that. But I haven't. So I haven't done that. My knee is fucked. I hate talking. I feel like every freerunner, every person who does sport, particularly freerunners, they will talk at length about their endless list of ailments and why their body sucks. And that is kind of part of, it's one of the, probably the many reasons why I don't do parkour as much there. Not just that I am injured, but parkour, and it is absolute cope if you don't agree with this, is so dangerous for your body. It's so bad for your body. And I'm just being honest, parkour is probably one of the worst sports for your body for long-term injuries. Maybe that's not true. Maybe there's others. I'm sure, like medieval MMA is probably a bit worse. I don't know. There's probably quite a few. But in my experience, parkour is awful for your body. Every freerunner I've known, every freerunner I've met has had some form of problem. Like, if you meet some freerunner and you ask them, like, what injuries do you have? They'll give you a laundry list. And if you meet one that says, I have none, no injuries, that is like meeting, I don't know, man, that's a unicorn. That's a parkour unicorn. They should make, that's, that person, if they exist, which they don't, that's a fucking unicorn, because everyone in parkour has repetitive strain injuries, like overuse of their knees. That's pretty much it. Overuse of your knees and your ankles tends to be it. Maybe some people have back problems. Typically shoulders, elbows, they don't tend to get too much of a problem. But knees, ankles, myth. And you might as well not have them. And this is one of the things, right? I've had lots of injuries over the years. I've suffered with bad ankles. I've got my ankles better to a degree, but they were never quite as strong as they were. Parkour has always just felt like this kind of battle to stay healthy. And as you get older, I'm like 28, so I'm very wise and old now. You start thinking about things in a way of longevity, which is funny, really, because you probably should have thought about longevity when you were young and healthy, and then you would still be young and healthy, well, old and healthy. But what happens? Hindsight is 2020. You get to about mid-20s, maybe late 20s, and you start going, I do like jumping on walls and doing big jumps, but the risk versus reward dramatically drops as you get older. I mean, really, if you add it up logically, right? If we're logical people, jumping between a roof gap, that could kill you, let's be honest. If you miss the roof gap, you could die. That short moment of enjoyment is not really, I mean, I know people argue with me, but it's not, for me, in my frame of looking at the world, it's not worth it. It's not worth the small amount of enjoyment, and it is a good feeling, the risk versus reward of that. And that's obviously the extreme things, but then it starts adding up with just general wear and tear on your body. I feel like parkour, for me anyway, was like spending my health for short bumps of enjoyment that when I get older and older, I'm going to regret. I'm going to be 50, 60, whatever, and I'm going to be crippled, And I'm going to be looking back like I kind of wish I just took more care of my body and didn't take such a risky thing. And I know a lot of people are going to they have this mindset of, well, life is practically not worth living beyond the age of 50 because you're crippled and old and useless. And so you have to just spend it all when you're 20, live as hard as you can when you're 20, and then just accept death. And it's like, I looked at my parents, and my parents are in their 60s. My mum wakes up, plays 2 hours of badminton, cycles to go play 2 hours of tennis. She does this nearly every day. She's out walking, enjoying her life. My parents are the picture of health, and it's because they looked after their bodies and they ate well. And I think there's this young mentality that comes with parkour, and this could lead us on to the next point as well. There's a very young mentality in parkour, and it sees that life is short, just spunk it all now, don't worry about the future. And, you know, it's one way of living. And certainly, when I did that, I had lots of fun, and I really enjoyed living like that, and I have great memories. And, you know, are there things I'd do differently if I was that age now? Yes, but whatever, it's done. So, but this is the thing, parkour is dominated by young people, which is cool, is fine, but as you start getting older, there is this feeling, or at least I've felt it, is that I just don't feel like I click with the younger people. I literally feel a bit old. Like, my mentality, the way I see the world, the music I listen to, the people I watch online, whatever it is, I'm no longer 16 or 20 and hanging around with 16-year-olds and 20-year-olds. We just see the world so differently. The humor is so different. Just everything is so different that I just don't feel like I click with those people. And there is this kind of thing, and this is what happens a lot with older people in any sport. They look back on their days as the golden era. And I look back when I started in parkour as the golden era. But there were people that when I started, they were the OGs. They were in parkour 10 years before me. They look back on their time as the golden era. Our era was all, you know, like commercial and stuff, whereas theirs was more pure. We look back on our era, the people kind of who trained in the time I trained, we look back and we're like, oh, it just used to be fun, man. Everyone was doing funny things. No, there was jokes. I don't know why I'm talking about the humor so much, but it was just more lighthearted. People took themselves maybe less serious. Things were more iconic. When someone released a video back in the golden era, it was like this moment. Everyone watched it. It was this shared experience. Oh, Storm Volume 1 came out. Stora have released Stora Super Tramps or whatever. Or Blue Shorts Massive. These videos would come out and they'd be like moments in time, and they would up the level of parkour's ability. Just like that. The video would come out, everyone would be inspired, it'd be crazy. But now what's happened with like Instagram has come along, and parkour and its achievements are so almost short-lived. Like, someone will do something incredible and it will be shared all over Instagram for a week, and then next week someone else has done something to dwarf it. And it's not that that's a bad thing. If anything, that's a great thing. The skill level's getting better. It's just what that means to people. And to me, like, back when I started, it really meant a lot when these videos came out. Dude, like, the songs people would use were the soundtrack of some of the best years of my life. I remember when everyone was obsessed with, like, is it like Ben Howard and maybe like Glitch Mob and stuff like that. Some of these songs, if I hear them now, they give me goosebumps, because I remember this time when I was young and a new video released with my favourite people in parkour, these like interesting personalities, and that song would just take me right back to sunny days with my friends training parkour in St Albans from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m, going out roof missioning. I tie all that together. Now, for me, in parkour now, I don't have that same feeling. I don't have that because, you know, I've had that time. And I'm not trying to say like parkour's shit now, or that, you know, other people aren't having that time right now and they'll look back in 10 years and feel the same thing. It's just for me right now, I don't have that with parkour. And so then this leads, like this, I'm talking a lot about the culture and stuff like that. And the culture's definitely changed, right? It's far different than when we started. I'm talking a lot about the culture. But then just to do with the sport itself, like the movement, like you can separate the culture from the activity of doing it. And I do love parkour. I love doing it, and I do see a future in which I'm doing parkour again, and I'm doing flips, and I'm doing stuff like that. I do see that future once my knee's better. But this is the other side, is like, I don't have the same group of friends that I started doing parkour with. And I did for a while, especially when I was doing like mainly parkour videos. I was training a lot with random people. I was traveling around. It probably looked quite cool. It probably looked like I was training with all these people that I looked up to. And I did, and I was. But that wasn't really like why I got into parkour. I got into parkour, and what's kept me in parkour was really I made a very close group of friends. Like my friend Greg, Connor, Jamie, James. I had a bunch of these very close friends I got very close to. Liam Ellis, Yen Ming, Ben Roper, Tim Norman, David Greaves. All these people that I started parkour with, these were like, if I missed anyone there, Joe O'Shea. If I missed anyone else, I'm sorry, Luke Mason. I feel really bad now. If I've missed people, know that I love you. This is just off top. But those group of people became like this very close group of friends. Like it was like a family. Honestly, it was like a family. And as you know, we all grow up, we move, we go and do our jobs, we change. We weren't training together. A lot of these people don't train anymore. And going out and training with all these people, like, famous free runners, whatever it is, it might look very cool, but that isn't really why you get into parkour. You get into parkour typically, or at least I did, because I had a great group of friends and we all moved apart, we no longer train, and I just couldn't get that same feeling. Like, I did meet some cool people in the last like year of training and stuff, and they were cool, but they just weren't the same, It's not like your best mates. There's nothing better than being with your best mates, just dicking around for a day. And then there's a few other things. So, as well, getting older, you want to focus probably on your job, making money, making a living. I want to have a house and a family. These sort of things become more important when you get older. And spending a whole 10-hour day doing parkour, unless it's for content, and that was what started happening with me and parkour, is because it became my job in a sense through making these videos. Parkour just became like, a job. And I would always say, if I just wanted to go out and train for fun, to me, that felt like I was wasting time, honestly. It felt like if I weren't making a video out of it, then why do it? I need to make money. And maybe I do need to relax on that mentality. And I think I have now. I think I have made a bit more of a healthy environment in my life where I can do things that are just fun. But when I was in that process, I started getting a bit like that. And parkour days are long days. And that leads me to the other thing. I have found other things that have replaced what parkour was for me. So, I've got into doing, like, going to the gym. I love gym. Gym has the same thing for me where it feels like it's a culture. And, like, online, there's, like, videos. There's, like, an aesthetic to these edits. There's a philosophy. There's, like, shared humor, shared jokes. There's drama. It's, like, it's got that same kind of thing. I also play a fuckload of badminton, which for me is covering that side of, like, being with my close friends, because I do badminton all the time with my very close friends. And it's very competitive. I feel like a lot of progression. Whereas parkour, I did definitely plateau. I went down massively. If you see what I was like training at back maybe 2014, 2015, I did some cool shit. And then it just, because of injuries, because of whatever, I just got worse and worse. Whereas badminton, gym are progressive for me. And then I've also got into Muay Thai, which is just me and a close friend just learning. And he's teaching me. And I'm getting better, getting stronger. And they're just making me expand certain parts of my personality and identity that I guess I never really tapped into when I was younger. When I was doing parkour, I was very creative, very hippie, and these sports have got me a bit more disciplined, a bit more focused, more stronger, and I guess more like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not, I wouldn't say the sports I do now are as expressive as parkour. It's a different style of thing, right? And so it's kind of left me in this place now where I'm satisfied with my life, very satisfied with my life. I'm doing things that feel progressive. I'm doing things that I feel like I'm enjoying. And parkour just doesn't really fit into the picture right now. And don't get me wrong, I still watch parkour shit all the time. I watch stuff on Instagram. I still love it. I still deeply love it. I still absolutely cherish all of the memories I built from parkour. Everything parkour taught me. All of the people I met. The fact that it's led to this with the content. My videos changed, but it gave me a life. It literally gave me my dream job, which was to just wake up, do what I want, make money from it. And parkour gave me all of these things, and it just kind of, it gave me everything. I worked very hard for 10 plus years learning parkour, and it gave me it. And then I've grown up, I've moved on. But I do expect, and I do really hope that one day I'll fix my knee. I plan to do it. I plan to do the knees over toes stuff, and can get back into it my own way. Like, but before quitting, I did start getting more into tricking, which was exciting. I also got into rollerblading, and I plan to keep rollerblading because that doesn't really hurt my knee too much. But yeah, I started getting into the tricking, and I was feeling this same feeling of excitement towards progress that I didn't feel in parkour for a long time. So I hope I can get back on it, and I really do. But ultimately, you know, I've moved on. My content has moved on. Like, I don't make the same videos, so that I'll just finalize on this point. So a lot of people say, why don't you make more parkour videos? I made every fucking possible parkour video for every single week of like a whole year, maybe a year and a half. I pretty much exhausted parkour. I talked about parkour as much as I could in every possible angle. And when I was doing it, I think what I found I enjoyed the most was telling stories about history and about culture within parkour. But think about it, there's only so much history and culture in parkour, but the whole world has much more history and parkour and culture. So I've had quite a logical progression out of parkour content, where I started with that, and then I took the documentary format that I'd created with my editor, myself, just my own skills, and then I moved it into extreme sports, because to me that felt like the audience might transfer well. And then now I'm in this place where I'm kind of making videos on really anything I find interesting, and just going down random rabbit holes that I find interesting. That was always my goal. My goal was to be able to make videos on whatever I wanted and whatever I found interesting. And it's been a fucking blessing that people watch it and enjoy it. And, you know, I get it if you started following me for the parkour content and then now I'm doing videos on Jeremy Kyle and pub culture and, you know, roadmen. You might not enjoy that. And I get it. And if you don't want to watch it, I totally understand. Thank you for joining me along the way. Thank you for helping me get to where I am now. The future of my content, if you're interested, is probably going to keep going down this route of subcultures, different interesting stories, different, like drama, stuff like that. I'm probably not going to go down the Sunny V2, Patrick CC route too much. I'm just not as interested in like the rise and fall story all the time. But, you know, cultures, and I really do expect, and I'm already planning, to get a cameraman and go out and meet some of these people and go and hang out with these people. So I have ideas where I want to progress it. I want to take that Louis Theroux type format, go down there. And honestly, that has kind of always been my goal. I didn't maybe say it in the beginning, but that was what I really wanted to do. I wanted to do it in parkour, going out and documenting athletes, but it was just very hard to organise. So, yeah, there you go. Have I quit parkour? I'm going to say no. But I don't do parkour right now, and I don't have any plans to anytime soon. But I suspect, knowing me, how I am as a person, I'll get back into it when I'm healthy, ready, and excited to do so. So thank you. Subscribe to the channel and comment whatever stories or topics you'd like me to cover next. Peace.